Hi, I'm Madeline and I'm here to talk to you about my people-to-people student trip. So I've always wanted to go to Australia, which is where I went, and it was an absolutely amazing experience. There are so many things I want to talk to you guys about, but there's one thing in particular I want to talk about. There's a lot of things I learned by going to Australia, but maybe the number one thing I've learned is that you can accomplish your dreams. Super cheesy, I know, but bear with me. Meet Koala. I've had Koala since I was maybe 5, and he is one of my best friends. So why did I show you Koala? Ever since I've had him, I've wanted to go to Australia. I think it's always been a lifelong dream of mine, really, to go to Australia, and it started with him. I remember when I was at the computer, actually, and my parents came up to me and they handed me this paper, and it was a letter from People to People saying I could go to Australia. And they were like, we think if you want, you can do this. You have to raise the money. You have to put the effort in. But if you want, you can do this. And I just jumped for joy. I didn't even know what to do. It was the most amazing moment ever. But there was a lot of work ahead of me. This trip was not necessarily inexpensive, and there were some other obstacles as well. And I knew I was going to have to work for it. And there was a part of me that didn't believe I could do it. But I decided to try anyway, and I'm so incredibly glad I did. I did a lot of fundraising. I got a job at a ski mountain, and I did this really cool fundraiser where I baked gingerbread men and had kids decorate them for $1, and that was super successful. I sold 200 at my town fair, and I did all sorts of other fundraising. I also put a lot of time into this project. There were a lot of late nights I spent making jewelry to sell at fundraisers, or writing essays so I could get school credit for this, or just so I could go on the trip in general. And I had to get letters of recommendation and write all sorts of other things to get accepted to this. And there were times where I thought I wasn't going to be able to raise enough money, and that I wasn't going to make my monthly deadline. I had a $250 deadline each month. I had to give that to my mother so we could pay People to People with our installment plan. And, there were times I thought I wouldn't be able to make it, but I kept working because I really, really wanted this. And like I said, I am so happy I kept working, and I am so proud of myself because I did it. I raised the money, I got accepted, I put all this work in, and then I actually got to go to Australia. I got my goal out of it. This is me a couple months later, holding a real-life koala. Oh my god, that was so cool! So, the reason I'm making this video is that the number one thing I learned on my people-to-people trip is that you can accomplish your dreams. If you work hard enough, you can get anything you want. And I know that sounds cheesy, I'm aware, but it's so true, and I don't think I ever realized how true it was until I went on this trip. There are a lot of other things I learned on this trip about Australia, about the wildlife. I loved Tangalooma Island. I loved meeting all the animals. We went walking through rainforests. My homestay family was absolutely amazing. I fell in love with them, but the number one thing I am glad I took away from this trip is that I can do anything. I hope everyone in their life gets the chance to do something along these lines and to go travel so they can see what they're really capable of. Happy travels!